want to ask by looking back in time to Hurricane Sandy. After that hit in the Northeast in 2012, the federal government spent $56 billion on relief efforts. And on Friday, the Trump administration asked Congress for $7.85 billion in initial hurricane funding relief. Given the devastation caused by this storm, will $7 billion be even close to enough money from the federal government?
Well, Dana, it will not be. However, it's very clear. The president has made it clear. Congress is making it clear. This is just a down payment. But let's not compare it to Sandy. Let's compare it to Katrina. Listen, the population size and the geographic size is far larger than Katrina and I think Sandy combined. We have over 5 million people who are affected by this. It's not just the flooding in Houston, it's the hurricane swath all the way from Corpus Christi over to Beaumont. And so it's going to require even more than what was funded for Katrina, which was about $120 billion. But in addition to that, listen, we are trying to work to rebuild the state of Texas ourselves, and that is why we have created this new fund the state of Texas runs called rebuildtexas.org. It's rebuildtx.org if people want to help join this effort.
Let me just make sure I understand you. I know it's very early and it's hard to know dollar figures down the road, but you're saying that you believe the federal government will need to give north of $100 billion?
Yeah, in the overall equation, the cost of this, if I understand it correctly, to rebuild Katrina was over $120 billion. And when you consider the magnitude of the size of this storm, it's far larger than Katrina, and both geographically and population-wise. And when you look at the number of homes that have been mowed down and destroyed and damaged, this is going to be a huge catastrophe that people need to come to grips with. It's going to take years for us to be able to overcome this challenge.
Let's talk about what's going on the ground right now. The waters are receding in Texas. People are returning to their homes that have been devastated. Only 15% of houses in Harris County, which include Houston, have flood insurance. What's going to happen to those people, Governor?
Well, let me first say one thing. I'll answer that. But remember this, the waters are receding and drying up in Houston, Harris County. But remember, there are so many other parts of the state of Texas that are impacted by this, such as the Beaumont region and some other regions in the lower Brazos River. We are still doing search and rescue missions as waters have not yet receded, not even come close to receding. So we are still in phase 1 of responding to the emergencies. But as it comes to the homeowners in Harris County and Houston, Texas, where the most dramatic and widespread flooding took place, we're working on multiple levels to make sure that these homeowners are going to be taken care of. One way in which the Trump administration has been very, very responsive is by having all their cabinet members as well as the FEMA administrator in Texas constantly, including yesterday. And so we are working on strategies to help these homeowners be able to have an effective response for them.
The Associated Press reported this weekend that 13 of the 41 contaminated Superfund sites in Texas were flooded and are now experiencing possible damage as a result of the hurricane. When will the EPA inspect all 13 of these sites?
Well, the EPA has been very aggressive about being involved in this, and they are working on some of them already. As you probably have noted, they have restraints on their ability to check out some of them just simply because of the water. But they are prepared to go in as quickly as possible.
And what threat do you think this poses, in all honesty, to public health of your constituents?
Well, this is just one of a multitude of dangers to public health because of the flooding waters. Listen, people, as they begin the clean-out process, they need to realize that as these waters have flowed through their homes and other parts of the county, it's not just what you're talking about there, but these waters are filled both with chemicals, with waste, and things like that that can pose real health hazards. And so we caution everybody as you begin the rebuild and clean-out process, understand that your homes, your buildings, and areas, any area where the flooding waters have come across your property, there is potential very dangerous dirt and grime left behind.
So should people wait to know the answers to what really is left behind before they go back?
Hey, no. As we toured around Houston yesterday and went through neighborhoods, we saw in typical Texas fashion, people are already getting back to work and they are cleaning out their houses. What people need to do is they just need to be very cautious in the way they respond. Do things like wear gloves, wear masks, wear clothing so that your skin is not going to be brushing up against what you're cleaning. But people can go back to their homes and begin the rebuilding process like what we've seen across the state of Texas already. And we're so impressed with the work ethic of our fellow Texans about getting back and going to the rebuilding process.
Governor Abbott, thank you so much.
Thank you.